I recommend that once operational, the board take up the matter of a name for this fund for climate impact response. On these understandings, I invite the COP to adopt the draft decision contained in document FCCC/CP/2023/L.1. Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
The year's biggest climate change conference, COP28, has begun in Dubai. On the first day itself, it was able to seal a historic landmark agreement on the Loss and Damage Fund, which aims to financially support the poor and the developing countries most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. In fact, the small island nations have been fighting for this fund for almost 30 years. So it is definitely a huge diplomatic win secured by the UAE presidency to get this fund operationalized on the first day of COP28. India has been strongly supporting the setting up of this fund and called it a landmark agreement on the first day. Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav also welcomed the decision of COP28. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also landed in Dubai on Thursday night, and he attended the World Climate Action Summit on day 2. Prime Minister Modi also made a big announcement and said that India has offered to host COP33 in the year 2028 in the country. However, this is just a proposal and is yet to be adopted by COP. Now, Prime Minister Modi also said that India has walk the talk when it comes to climate action, and he reiterated India's strong commitment to climate action. He in fact highlighted that the country is among the only few economies in the world which is consistently on track to meet its nationally determined contributions, or let's say the climate targets. Now, if you remember, India last year had raised its ambitions. It updated its NDCs and said that by 2030, we'll reduce our emission intensity of the GDP by 45%, and said that 50% of India's cumulative electric power capacity will come from non-fossil fuels. Prime Minister Modi also highlighted how the G20 presidency was able to get the world's major economies to agree on making efforts to triple the renewable energy capacity by 2030. Now, this is one of the major goals of COP28 as well, and the UAE presidency will also look to get all the countries in unison in working towards this goal. Prime Minister Modi also batted strongly for the Global South because India sees itself as a leader of the Global South. He said that all the developing countries, including India, should get a fair share of the remaining carbon budget. Now, what is this whole global carbon budget? So basically, it's the net carbon dioxide emissions which the world can still emit while keeping that 1.5 degree goal intact. So he says that since the rich countries, the developed countries have historically emitted most of these carbon dioxide emissions, so the other developing countries which still have to do a lot of development need to access this remaining carbon budget. Now, Prime Minister Modi is going to meet a lot of world leaders during several bilateral meetings during the day which he'll be in Dubai, and these are just the two some of the major achievements, decisions taken on the first 2 days of this 2-week-long conference. There are many negotiations which are already underway, and CNN News 18 will bring you all the latest updates on this important climate summit, which comes at a very crucial time because it will mark the first ever global stocktake, a collective assessment of the climate action done since the 2015 Paris Agreement.